discuss adding, subtracting polynomials. So there's a few words we have to learn first. One of them that you see right there is polynomials, which we'll talk about right there. But there's 4 terms. There's monomial, which means one term. There's binomial, which means 2 terms. There's trinomial, which means 3 terms. And there's polynomial, which means multi-term. But in this case, we're going to use it a little bit differently. We're going to use it for everything. And just so we know, the term is, when you look at the numbers, they're things separated by plus or minus. For example, a monomial might be something like 8x or 3xy, even though there's 2 variables there, that's still one term. Or even as something as 12x squared y to the 4th over 4x to the 5th y to the 7th. That's one term because there's no adding and subtracting there. Binomial would be like 3x plus 4 or 2x squared minus 3xy to the 5th. You see one subtraction in there, so you have one term, 2 terms, one term, 2 terms. Trinomial is 3 terms, 3x squared plus 2x plus 4. You see one term, 2 terms, 3 terms. And a polynomial is multi-terms, and that could really mean anything. It can be the obvious, which is multi-terms, not 1, 2, or 3, like 4x to the 4th plus 8x squared or cubed minus 2x squared plus 7. That's got 4 terms. But we even use it for this. This is a polynomial, 4x to the 2nd minus 5y to the 3rd. Next, we'll go to fill in the blanks here. Simplifying expressions by combining like terms is very simple. Terms can be combined, meaning adding or subtracting, only if they are like terms. That's some words that you've heard before, but like terms. Like terms can have different coefficients. That part doesn't matter. That's the number in front of the variable. But they must have the same variables raised to the same powers or exponents. In other words, like terms means same variables or same variable, same exponent. You'll hear me say that a lot in class. Next, we'll look at the steps for combining like terms. So we're going to look to simplify first if there's any parentheses. We have to take care of the parentheses first. So basically what that means is remove parentheses, because that changes everything. So remove the parentheses. Then we're going to circle, we're going to box, we're going to underline, you can even triangle if you need to, all of the like terms. And then finally, we're going to add or subtract the coefficients of the like terms. So you can see an example here. If we look at that, first thing we're going to do is take out the parentheses. So any parentheses in front of a plus with nothing here, we don't have to do a whole lot. We just need to remove the parentheses because that's like having a 1 there. So that's just a minus b squared plus 3a to the 3rd. And that plus is like having 1 there. So that's just a, positive a, negative 5, negative 4b squared. And now we want to go through and we want to combine our like terms. So we'll start off, look at that. We have a's. We have, let's put a square around the b squareds. Notice how I'm also marking the sign in front of it. The sign in front, that's a negative b, that's a negative 4b squared. And then we have 3a cubed, but there isn't one of those. And I'm going to use a triangle here to show that one, negative 5. So we combine all our same shapes. We have an a and an a, so that gives us 2a. We have a negative b squared and a negative 4b squared, which gives us a negative 5b squared. And then we have these other two. And for today, we're just going to add them to it. Now remember, none of this a and a cubed cannot be combined because they're not like terms. No, not the same variable or exponent. And then b squared and they don't have anything in common. So Okay, for our next example, we have a minus b squared plus 3a cubed minus, so it's the same as the one before, except we have this minus right there, so we have to take care of that. This is like having a 1 in front, so that's simply still just a minus b squared plus 3a cubed. But this is like having a -1, so remember everything on that in that side of that parentheses goes to opposite. So minus a plus 5 plus 4b squared. So now again, going to combine them the same way. We're going to have our a's, we're going to have our b's, and then we have that and that. So combining our a's, a minus a gives us 0, so we don't even have to write that. Negative b plus 4b squared will give us 3b squared. And then the remainder pieces that next we're looking at this one, and again we have a minus here. That means we're going to have to simplify that a little bit differently. So when we take the first part out of the parentheses, we have 2x squared plus 3x minus 3. It's like having a -1. So we have negative 3x plus 2x squared plus 7. So again, let's start combining things. We have our 2x squared and our 2x squared. We have our 3x and our negative 3x. And then we have our negative 3 and our positive 7. So that's going to be pretty simple to simplify. The 2x squareds give us 4x squared. The 3x minus 3x gives us 0x, but we don't need to write that. And the negative 3 plus 7 gives us positive 4. So we get 4x squared plus 4. For our next one, again, we have a negative. So when we take it out of parentheses, we're going to have 8n minus 3n to the fourth plus 10n squared. And that's like -1. So negative 3n squared, negative 11n to the fourth, and positive 7. So let's see, we have our 8n, and there's nothing to combine it with. We have our negative 3n to the fourth and negative 11n to the fourth. We have our 10n squared and negative 3n squared, and then we have our plus 7. So just kind of going in order here, we have 8n. We can combine those two, negative 3 and negative 11 give us negative 14n to the fourth. We can combine those two, 10 minus 3 gives us 7n squared, and then plus 7. And now when we finish, we should notice that there is nothing there that can be combined. We have an n to the fourth, an n squared, and a no variable. So nothing can be combined. For this last one, we'll still have to take it out of the parentheses, but it won't be as quiet there. That's like having a positive 1. So plus 4x minus 6x squared, then plus 9. And then we have this negative, so that's like a 1. So negative 6x and negative 3. So combining here, we have a 2x squared and a negative 6x squared. We have a 4x and a negative 6x. And then we have a 9 and a negative 3. So 2x squared and negative 6x squared give us negative 4x squared. 4x and negative 6x give us negative 2x. And 9 and negative 3 gives us positive 6. Now, for those of you in pre-AP, we actually will talk about how to put these in order. Normally, when you put these in order, you look at the exponents, and you go from largest to smallest. So we have an a to the third, we have a b to the second, we have an a, we have a -5, which is a 0. You can do it a lot of different ways, but usually we go in two things. We do the exponent, but we also go alphabetical. So we're actually going to put this one and this one first. So 3a cubed plus 2a. Take care of all the a's. Then we'll go to the b's, minus 5b squared, and then the exponent of 0. So we kind of have an order. We do alphabetical, we do exponent. For this second one, we have a b squared, we have an a cubed, and we have a 0. So obviously the plus 5 will go last. Again, we'll go alphabetical. So normally this would be written 3a cubed plus 3b squared. Now, the key thing to remember is these two things are technically the same, but you'll always see it written like this in books and in any formal writing just because that is an agreed upon order that we write these things in. For this next one, 4 squared plus 4, there's not really anything to do. 4x squared is still going to be just 4x squared plus 4 because we have an x squared and we have something to the 0. On this one, we have an n to the fourth, an n squared, an n, and a 7, which is n to the 0. So that's the order we'll go in. We would normally write this as 14n to the fourth plus 7n squared plus 8n plus 7. And the thing I want to draw your attention to here is notice that is a negative 14, that is a positive 7, that is a positive 8, and that is a positive 7. So that's the order that you should start writing it in. And finally, for this last one, we've already got it in the right order because we have an x squared, an x, and an x to the 0.